Hello, and this is technically day 33, but I wanted to do a separate entry because last night I had a second hiccup. It was not, I had done my reflection, my entry before I went to dinner and kind of like knew that it was going to be, it was a hard day, and then I was in a more, binge mood and just had that feeling of like bottomless hunger, and just nothing I could eat could satisfy it, and I could just eat and eat and eat. And I know that comes to a point, like eventually your body does catch up to your brain, like your brain is able to shut down and tell you to eat more and more and more, but in that addictive pathway. But eventually your body like feels the pain of it and the discomfort when it's like too full and you've eaten too much food. And I as I was like writing today and reflecting on it, I thought of the inertia and the indulgence. Like this last month, there had been a lot of inertia in my recovery and doing these entries and having it be the first bit of time that I was doing it, and like the newness of it, along with starting a new side project and the inertia of that, and coming up towards the election, and then the inertia of relationships and the change in them and new ones, and in starting training, and it that carried me through the month, and starting the month with a full moon, ending with a full moon. And then yesterday really felt like the ending of that inertia, or the coming down from that, is like when the roller coaster finally comes to a stop. And I knew that, and that was good, and I wanted it to stop, but also knew it was going to be hard. And so all of a sudden the inertia kind of dissipated, and I was left in this stop position with things to kind of reconcile with emotions and anxiety, to finally have the space to think about and confront, or spend time thinking about, and just the ending of things and not knowing what was going to come next, and sitting in that space. And so I knew the day was hard, and I knew I was just processing a lot, and I was trying to figure out a lot in it. But I still felt like I was, giving myself the space to eat whatever I wanted. And I wanted, it's like I wanted to eat, and I wanted to drink, and I wanted to smoke a cigarette, and it's just like, so move from inertia to indulgence. So like if there wasn't any inertia anymore, I wanted to move into indulgence, so just eating whatever, drinking whatever, having a cigarette. And both of them, still are a way of not being present in the moment and not feeling it and finding some sort of escape. And I think it's very human. So I'm not wholly necessarily faulting myself for going through that. And just like the moon goes through phases, like I'm going through an ebb and a flow, and phases too within a month. And I was thankful that I felt that way, because if I didn't, I think I would be just ignoring it and be coming at another time. So I ate more, and I snacked, and I kind of just let myself eat whatever. And thankfully I had dinner with friends, but and then right after eating dinner, I wanted to purge so bad. I was just so full, and I wanted to be kind of done with that feeling. But I was with friends, and I sat with it for the couple hours. We watched a movie, and I drove home, and it's hard for me because I'm going to bed, and I have heartburn, and I'm too full, and not too full, but like I'm very uncomfortable, and I know that I'm not going to be able to sleep well. And I struggle to know, like, no food is too much, and you never have to throw up. But also, sitting with it is also going to be uncomfortable, and I'm not going to be able to sleep. And it wasn't going to be a cycle. So it just felt like I had a choice to decide how I wanted to handle it. And ultimately, I decided to purge, telling myself that it was so that I could go to sleep, and so that tomorrow I could be in the state physically and start the day over and keep going. Because it's also hard, like, when I drink too much, and if I'm hungover the next day, it's like I don't beat myself up over that. It's like, oh shoot, like I was being emotional, or I made a mistake, I didn't drink enough, and I'm able to drink some water, take some ibuprofen, and eat some food, and move on with the day. And I don't let it wreck me emotionally. But I can do the same thing, but with food, and and can feel like it can be such an emotional toll, and I, you know, get stuck into a deep shame cycle. And so wanting to take my recovery serious, but also give myself space, like, all right, it wasn't a perfect day, and that was hard, and you know why it was hard. And I reflected, and then it's time to move on from it. I'm gonna keep moving on and keep choosing recovery and keep choosing the entries. So that's why I wanted to make sure I did this today, and I gave myself some time this morning to think about it. And I still feel like anxious and a little like, I don't really know how the day goes, but I'm gonna choose the end to fill my day with things that do help. And yeah, if I need to take it day by day or hour by hour, I can do that too.